Hello again, everybody. I'm Snapper Lancaster, welcoming you to another edition of the Central Alabama High School Sports Show. Folks, we've got a nice show lined up for you tonight. We're going to have two outstanding coaches. We've got a basketball coach coming in with some of his players, and we've got a championship track team, both boys and girls, that we'll be visiting with just a little bit later. Once again, we're in a very busy part of the winter season. We're getting close to the championships as far as the high school basketball, boys and girls, is concerned. Some other championships have already been won, and that's, like I said, we'll be talking to one of those coaches in the second segment of the show. This has always been a busy time of the year because it's right after Christmas, and you've got a short season leading into the playoffs. And right here, the basketball playoffs are upon us. Some favorite teams here in the Birmingham area have got a shot at doing really well. In 7A, you've got the Hoover Bucks, and you've got Mountain Brook that's always playing well. And 6A, you've got quite a few teams. Winona going for championships in 5A. So there's a lot of activity, very busy time of the year, and we look forward to visiting with many of the coaches and the athletes as we possibly can. I want to remind you very quickly before we get the show underway, always remember, folks, if you get an opportunity, please frequent our sponsors, because without them, we wouldn't be here. But like I said, tonight we've got a great show, a couple of coaches with some outstanding athletes, and we'll start the show in just a moment. Don't you go away. We'll be right back.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. No, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
The next time you need electrical work, whether it be commercial or residential, you need to call Huffman Electrical Contractors, a company that's been in business for over 35 years. They've served clients not only locally in the Birmingham area and all over the state, but have clients outside the state of Alabama as well. Whether it's a new building or remodeling an older building or home, they can handle the job for you. Once again, that's Huffman Electrical Contractors. The number to call is 205-661-5005. That's 205-661-5005. Where at Huffman Electrical Contractors, a satisfied customer is always their number one objective.
Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven. A taste of heaven is always best. Now you know that you're blessed. Give your taste a whole new spin. Bring your friends and come on in. Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven.
And folks, welcome back. I'm sitting with my first guest of the evening. As I talked about in the opening, we're going to have two outstanding coaches with their athletes with us here tonight. And I'm talking about Marcus Thomas, of course, the head basketball of Hewitt-Trussville High School. And Coach, good to see you.
Thank you, Snapper.
And
always a pleasure.
As we get this interview underway, tell us a little bit about, for people that might be seeing you the first time, about your background and what actually led you to end up being the coach there at Hewitt-Trussville.
Right. Well, I spent 14 years coaching college basketball and did a stint here in the state of Alabama at Marion Military Institute, and I've coached at every level, NCAA Division I all the way down to junior college, and it's been great. Had a good friend that came to Trussville and asked me to come over and help, and things just kind of happened, and I was thrown into the head coaching position, and it was sink or swim, and we were fortunate. We got after it, and we got after it hard. And that first year was challenging, but we won some ball games. The second year was more that maturation period, and that was really good for us. And then this year, which we were really excited about, and had several firsts for the program. So we were very excited, and guys played tremendous basketball for us this year. So
I know have talked with you a couple of times. I think this is your, second time to be on our program?
Second time.
And of course, I've heard good things about you before I had you on the first time from my grandson, Preston Jones, that Preston has played basketball, is playing baseball there at Hewitt. But Nellie Kate, they speak highly of you, and so you and I have talked a little bit before, and even about Preston and my grandkids there. But having said that, I know going into this year, it ended up being sort of a bittersweet year, and the way I'll let you talk about that comes from what you and I had talked about a couple of times before the show tonight, and that was the fact that this team that you had this year had a good season. And I know when we talked before your playoff game, and we talked about the fact that you thought your team was peaking at the right time.
Right.
And there are games, because folks, I went to see this ball game, and I was fully expecting to win. I know you can expect it, but then you got to go out and do it.
Right, correct.
And Coach, I'll let you expand on a little more than I because you're closer to the situation. But I will say this in your defense, and I don't defend coaches much, but I played the game of basketball, and I know what it's like. And the thing about it, and I've been on teams where we couldn't throw it in the ocean if we tried. And I have never seen a team with the capability, and I think because I saw a little bit of it, but it was evident early that your guys were off. And it just wasn't one or two guys. How many times does it happen to the whole team? And it's almost disappointing from a couple of standpoints. One of them, you're disappointed because you lose because you played well enough to you could win that ball game. Right. And the other one is we've had nights where you'd have a player, maybe two, that was having off night shooting, but in your defense, and that's just where I'm defending you a little bit, in your defense, I've never seen a team go as cold as yours did. Right. And the thing about it, and you've been in the game a lot longer than I, so you'd understand this even better than I. Sometimes it just takes a shot or two falling, and the whole momentum and everything changes. Right. All of a sudden, everybody's hitting those shots. From your standpoint, you had a team that won twice as many as you lost. Sure. A team that had played well all season long. Describe what some of the emotions you were going through, because I know you were trying to push every button you had in your repertoire, and nothing was working. And sometimes it just happens that way.
Right. Well, the first thing is we played Gadsden City, and to this day, they have won 11 straight area championships. Wow. And I mean, just going back to last year, we went from worst to first, doubled up in wins all the way across the board, and won 2 championships this year, tournament championships. One at the Jack Green Way over in Leeds, and then we went to Mississippi and played a very competitive tournament down there with some of their top teams. And that was the first time that I saw this team go cold. But that was the thing. Everyone didn't go cold. We had 2 of our top players that ended up going cold. And but our defense held strong and held true, and we ended up winning down there. And so right now, we hold the record over Gadsden, even though they've won 11 straight championships. We're 3-2, but up until this game that we played, the area tournament game, we were 3-1. And we kind of had their number, and their coach and I were very good friends, and I think the world of him and his ball club. But we did a tremendous job of handling their press. I think we turned it over 12 times, and even great teams at the NCAA level, if you turn it over 12 times or less, you have a very good chance of winning that ball game. Mm-hmm. And we battled on the boards, and you're talking about a team where per athlete, they're probably about 3 inches taller than our guys, a lot more athletic. But one thing that I thought is that our shooting, our ability to take care of the basketball would really bring us through. But every player we had went cold. Mm-hmm. And I thought the guys did a tremendous job of running offense. I remember at one point in time, I had the count that we had 14 open threes. Right. I mean, beautiful looks that on any given night, any of the 5 guys that we put on the perimeter.
You'd hit half of them anyway.
They're hitting at least 40% of those things. So definitely not, taking anything from Gadsden City, because like I said, they've been champions for a long time, and it's difficult to dethrone champions. But our group is a championship caliber group, and we were in the top 10 for quite a while this year, and deservedly so.
Yeah, I know. I saw that, and I kept my eye on you, and believe me, as disappointed as you are and the players are, now the thing that you have to do, being in the coaching business this long, you look in the next year. So you're coming off of a good season. It ended in a disappointing way, but doesn't take anything away from what you and your team did accomplish.
Right.
And so how does that look as we end this interview? Talk a little bit about what next year looks like for you.
Well, we were able to bring up, right there at the end, 3 freshmen. And the size and athleticism that those guys are bringing up with them, I think is really going to help us out next year. Will it be a rebuilding year? Yes, but not from the standpoint that most people think. It'll be a rebuilding year just because we have to get those guys a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, a little bit faster, just get them used to the varsity game. But we have Cameron Glover, Colin Glover, Jackson, Hunter, and those guys are there. We have Sam Cork, Jameer Reese, Malachi Moore that are all coming back, and they're tremendous leaders, every one of them in their own right. And so when you added a Julian Collins, who's a freshman, a Tyler Pickett, those guys, when thrown in the mix, that last week of practice, it was almost like they had been there the whole season. So I'm pretty excited about this next year's group.
Well, I tell you what, as we end this, Coach, it's sort of bittersweet, but yet, like you say, it's not like the cupboard was bare.
Right.
I mean, you just ran into one of those nights that you just happen to have it at the wrong time, and that's fate. Sometimes you never know what's going to happen, but I know you, I know your reputation, I know your ability, and if you put that along with some pretty good athletes, I think you've got a lot to look forward to next year as well.
I'm looking forward to it.
Awfully good to see. I know it was on a sad or sour note, but it still doesn't diminish what you and your players were able to accomplish this year. As a matter of fact, I'm going to visit with 3 of them in a moment and look forward to talking with them. But always good to see you. Wish you the best down the road, and I know that next year that you're already probably looking forward to it, because that's what head coaches do. You leave the disappointments behind you and look for what's ahead.
That's right.
For you and your team.
That's right. Thank you for having us.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break, folks. When we get back, 3 young gentlemen, part of the reason Hewitt-Trussville had a great year this year in their basketball. We'll be right back. The next time you need electrical work, whether it be commercial or residential, you need to call Huffman Electrical Contractors, a company that's been in business for over 35 years. They've served clients not only locally in the Birmingham area and all over the state, but have clients outside the state of Alabama as well. Whether it's a new building or remodeling an older building or home, they can handle the job for you. Once again, that's Huffman Electrical Contractors. The number to call is 205-661-5005. That's 205-661-5005. Where at Huffman Electrical Contractors, a satisfied customer is always their #1 objective.
At Andrews Sports Medicine, we partner with our patients, trying to help them overcome the obstacles that keep them from achieving their goals.
This practice aggressively pursues victory over injury, over pain, over limitation, over anything that's going to keep you from being the best you can be.
It starts with our non-surgical physicians who are trained in sports medicine, orthopedic injuries. We have specialists in sports medicine with shoulders, elbows, and knees. We have hip specialists that do only hip surgery, including arthroscopy, minimally invasive resurfacing, and total hip replacement if needed. We have joint replacement surgeons. We have spine surgeons. We have surgeons that specialize in foot and ankle surgery and in hand surgery. So just about all the specialties of orthopedics are covered at Andrews Sports Medicine.
What makes the great surgeons great is their volume of experience at making decisions, whether that's intraoperative decisions, post-operative decisions, pre-operative decisions, the decision to operate on somebody or not operate on them. And so our volume here breeds good decision making that gives us an edge in terms of making decisions for our patients, which ultimately is a lot of times the difference between success and failure. The teams, the players, the parents have confidence in us because they know we're going to communicate with them. We're going to create a plan unique to that athlete or that person, and we're going to get them back to their thing and as quickly and as safely as we can.
At Injury Sports Medicine, our mission is to partner with our patients and to help them succeed and achieve victory. Whether you're a weekend warrior, a grandparent with a shoulder problem, or a professional athlete, you get the same care, the same high-level technology, the same aggressiveness that we would in a professional athlete, and we treat everyone the same way. None of us like to lose. We're all very competitive, and we're not going to lose against their illness or their injury.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. Now, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
Folks, welcome back. And as you can tell, I got three outstanding young athletes sitting here with me of the Hewitt-Trussville Huskies, and coming off a very successful season, but a very disappointing end to it. But that happens. That's sports. We have winners and losers. The old say a guy's life goes on, but it doesn't diminish the great season that y'all had. Sitting with me closest, Colin Glover, sophomore guard, right? And next to him, Jackson Hunter, 11th grader, and you're a guard. And then finally, Cameron Glover, and yes, brothers and twins, and a sophomore as well, and he is a guard. So, Colin, we'll start with you. Going into this season, what were your personal expectations for yourself and for your team?
Well, I started off as on freshman coming up, so I wasn't on varsity. But my personal goal was to get on varsity and do the best I can to help my teammates and affect our team. Okay.
And Jackson, you being an 11th grader, how many years have you played on the basketball team there at Hewitt?
I played all 3 years, first year freshman, second year JV, this year was my first year on varsity.
Okay. And all three of you guys are guards. And Jackson, I'll ask you this. You a shooting guard, or you a quarterback type guard, or a combination?
I like to say combination.
Okay. But when you're hot, and when you're not, you're not.
Yes,
if we're not, we try to make sure we get it to the guy that is, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm going to ask you this question. Have you ever played in a game where your team was as cold as they were the other night?
Yeah, that was the first time ever in my life, and I think I played a lot of basketball, that I see the whole team go cold. I don't know if it was like jitters or whatever.
You know what? I would say that if I didn't know what kind of good season y'all had. So I don't think that was it at all. I don't think intimidation like that would have bothered you guys. It's just I played basketball a long time ago, and sometimes they're just not going to fall, no matter what. But like you said, here's the exception. It usually doesn't happen where everybody's missing. Generally, somebody can pick you up. Cameron, how many years have you been playing on varsity, or is this your first year?
Yeah, this is I got moved up last year at the end of the season to play in the area game against Grissom, but this is my first full year on varsity, so.
Oh, okay. Now, when you looked at that schedule at the start of the season, athletes are pretty normal people. They'll look at a schedule and they'll see a team up there that they're really looking forward to playing. Who would that be for you?
This year, I'd say Pinson was the team I was looking forward to play. You know, everybody said they were, the top team in the state. So I was really looking forward to play against them, to show them that, it doesn't matter who you are. Every time you line up against me, I'm going to give you my best. So.
Okay, now here's another question. And if I had it to do over again, this is one question I would have asked Coach Thomas, but I didn't get a chance to because we were talking about the other aspects. But next year, different region, different areas, y'all are coming back into the Birmingham region. And so with that thought in mind, Cameron, who y'all will be playing like in a region with Mountain Brook, Vestavia, and Spain Park, I think. And I know y'all see those teams from time to time, but you haven't been in the area with them. So are you looking forward to being back here in the Birmingham area, or did you enjoy the area and region when you were playing up north?
Well,
Both
honestly,
teams.
I can't get back. I can't wait to get back to playing in Birmingham. You know, I've grown up playing against Vestavia and Mountain Brook my whole life, so you know,
Right.
I can't wait to get back playing against them.
Okay. Colin, how do you feel about that? Are you glad
I'm
that y'all be
excited.
back down here?
Excited. Ready to play them, especially Mountain Brook.
Oh, yeah. I tell you what, now Mountain Brook is one of these teams that you know what you're going to get every time you play them, but every time you want to try to figure out a way to slow them down, and there ain't no way really to slow. And if you can't slow them down, then what's the other option? You got to play with them, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. From that standpoint, Jackson, do you look forward to those games like that where you have to play run and gun, but both teams are playing that way?
Yeah, it'd be like up tempo, nice, exciting for the crowd, and hopefully we come out with the W at the end of it.
Oh yeah. Well, let me ask you this question, guys. Athletes, we're a strange bunch. We're superstitious, and a lot of times the superstitions, it's in here, it's not in here. Shooting, it's in our minds. But for whatever reason, those superstitions, we feel like they give us an edge if we do whatever it is that we might do. So with that thought in mind, and we'll start with you, Colin. Do you have any superstitions or rituals that you have to do a certain way every ball game, or you don't think you're going to play your best?
Well, I have to listen to pregame music, I think.
Really?
Yes, sir. It gets me hyped up for the game.
Yeah. Of what kind?
Rap.
Rap. Well, now that's the kind you're getting ready in case you have to talk smack back and forth, right? How about you, Jackson?
For me, probably eating the pregame meal or eating a Subway sandwich.
Really?
I eat it like every whole game.
Well, I tell you what, you're a man after my own heart because I love Subway sandwiches. As a matter of fact, I ate the same sandwich for about 14 or 15 years, and every time I came through the door, they fixed it. I didn't have to say nothing, just fix it. So I enjoyed that. So I understand that one. How about you, Cameron?
I really don't have any superstitions. You know?
No.
I really don't. Yeah, I don't.
Well, you better get one. No, I was going to say maybe. And one other question I like to ask young athletes too: if you could play or your game could emulate any NBA or college star, and we'll start with you, Cameron. Who would that be?
Kyrie Irving or Trae Young.
Yeah.
That'd be my two.
Yeah, and those guys, especially Kyrie's always on the move, you know, and but a really good player. Jackson, how about you?
I say LeBron James.
Now let me tell you something. That's cool, and I'm going to tell you the good news and the bad news. Okay, it's a great example, and that's the bad news. The good news: if you're just that much like him, you're going to probably be better than most of the city slickers around here. So good luck on you on that. How about you, Colin?
Probably like Trae Young and James Harden.
Oh, really? Yeah. Now, tell you, I don't know that much about him to really appreciate him, I guess, and I could never grow a beard like him. But Harden is a great shooter, and I don't know. He's one of those guys that I always thought his team would end up better than they are, but maybe a lot of it has to do with the people around him. So I'm going to give him that. So looking down the road, have you ever had any young kids after a ball game or after they see you in the halls or anything talk to you, or if they said something to you, what kind of advice would you give them to tell them how important the game of basketball is to you? And we'll start with you, Colin.
I'll probably tell them that like enjoy what you like, do what you love, and follow your passions for like your sport or whatever you do.
Okay. How about you, Jackson?
Probably never give up, even though when times get tough. Just never give up. Look at the goal that you're trying to get.
Right. Well, that'd be good advice too, Cameron.
I tell them to outwork everyone because nothing's guaranteed. So, you know, always do your best whenever you step on the court.
You know, I asked kids this a lot, and I get varied answers. Now, young men, you're not exactly kids anymore. But some athletes feel like, basketball players in particular, feel like they play better away because they go to that gym and not as much as expected out of them. I mean, we're expected to win all our home games. We know we're not going to. If we're lucky, we do a few years maybe, but not very often. And so, and we'll start with you, Colin. Does it feel like it takes pressure off of you playing away, and there's more pressure on you at home, or is it the other way around for you?
I'd say it's the other way around because it's like home crowd, so you're used to playing at your gym. So I feel like it's more pressure to play away.
Well, now the reason that I have answers the other way, and I'll be interested to see what you have to say too, Jackson, is the fact that sometimes you press a little more because you do want to win at home, and that home crowd's expecting you to do well. How about you, Jackson? How do you feel about that?
I'll probably say the other way around as well, because they don't know you. The crowd's going to be at your neck the whole time, but you got to like get over that and just focus on the game.
Yeah, okay, there's some truth to that too. Cameron?
I feel like it's more pressure at home because all your friends are expecting you to put on a show for them and do the best you can so they can enjoy themselves. So I feel like it's more pressure to do well at home than it is away.
Well, that's good. I think sometimes along those lines too. Well, guys, I tell you what, you had a really good season this year. Ended up on a sour note, but that happens. As the old saying goes, that's life. Now we're going to have to pick it up and next year do better, and hopefully that don't happen again. But last question to this point in your young lives, we'll start with you, Colin. Who's been the most inspirational person or persons?
Probably my dad. He's helped me through a lot and helped me get confidence in the game and helped me expand my game and the knowledge of it.
Okay. How about you, Jackson?
I'll probably say my whole family. They give me advice and push me through the hard times.
Okay. And Cameron?
I'd probably say my mom because they're both similar, so she helps me through tough times. So.
Well, I tell you what, guys, you had a great year this year, and I know you're looking forward to next year already. Awfully good to see you, and I wish you the best of luck, okay? Folks, we're going to take a quick break. We come back, another coach, more guests. Go away. We'll be right back.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. No, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
And this will be your premium right here.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say I combined home and auto with State Farm. Saved $760. Love this guy.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky.
Bundle home and auto, and you could save $760.
That's 760 very good reasons to call Alan Gurdeau in Trussville today.
Hey folks, welcome back, and as you can tell, I've got more guests here in the studio with me. Sitting closest to me here, longtime coach there at Hoover, and of course we're talking about Coach Devin Hines. And Coach, I don't guess it's ever going to get old, but you've done had another championship boys and girls season here.
Yeah, no, it doesn't get old. I like it.
Well,
I like seeing you.
I believe I would too, and I, I've never sort of put it like this, being a quote-unquote Vestavia guy, from all those years.
Right.
But I could have been your good luck charm. You didn't even know it.
Maybe that's it.
So don't go that far, Snapper. Okay, and sitting by Coach there, and I should have done this before I put my glasses up. I don't need to do that. But sitting beside Coach is Sydney Steele and Michelle Unkadu. And girls, good to have you. And if I'm not mistaken, Sydney, senior, and you were the 800-meter champ?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And for Michelle, our hurdles champ. Now, which hurdles was it? 60?
60-meter dash.
Okay. Well, congratulations, girls. 1 on being champions, but 2 on being champions as a team. That's neat. That's what it's all about, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, going into this year, you end up, like I said, double champions again, and a compliment to you boys and girls. Did you feel like you had the kind of athletes, boys and girls both, that could win a championship?
With the girls, I wasn't sure. With the guys, I was pretty sure we had a championship team. With the girls, I wasn't sure we had had the speed. In fact, I told somebody when the season started, it's probably the slowest girls team we've had ever in the last 10 years. And then we end up setting 2 state records in the 4x4 and the 4x8. So it wasn't quite as bad as I had envisioned.
And Coach,
and these girls each won 2 relays. They were each on 2 relays.
I apologize for not asking you to do this to start with, but tell people that might be seeing you for the first time. That's hard to believe. You've been around so long, and that's a compliment. Don't mean nothing about your age or anything like that. But tell us a little bit about your background. What got you there to Hoover to start with?
Well, I started coaching at Berry High School in 1978 for 3 years. Then I was out for 16 with a lawn service company. Then I started volunteering at Simmons Middle School, and I was there for 10 years, teaching and coaching. And when Coach Birdwell retired, I took over at Hoover.
Well, and I know, how many years is it now?
This is my 15th year at Hoover High School.
Wow. Well, I know I've been doing this show. It's closing our 20th season now, and you've been a big part of it. And one of the reasons being is because not only outstanding coach, but you've got to have outstanding athletes. It takes that as well. So another thing, Coach, it's a numbers game too. You got a lot of athletes to choose from, but yet no matter who you have to choose from, the coach is still the one that has to lead them and get the best out of them. What's your secret?
I've got good assistant coaches. That's my secret.
Really? Well,
yeah,
I know
they know what they're doing.
And that's a positive.
And then I've got, kids that just buy in, and we've got tradition, and so they see what other girls do, and of course they want to keep winning just like the others have.
I was going to say, how much of that is involved with your athletes, knowing that they're competing at a school and in the program that's had so much success? Because sometimes that can work in a negative way, like almost putting too much pressure on you to do what their counterparts did before. But on the other hand, it can be that positive motivating factor.
Well, we just ask them to do what they're capable of, and if that includes winning, then we expect them to win. If it doesn't, we don't expect them to win.
Well, Sydney, what is it that you enjoy most about track, and what is it that you dislike about track? And just forget if anything involves the coach. You got to be honest.
Oh, it's definitely, Coach Hine makes it a joy. I think my favorite thing is just being with my team. The camaraderie that we developed through the things that I don't love as much, like the pain and all the hard workouts that Coach Hine puts us through. But as we struggle through those things together, I think it brings us we get really close. So.
Well, let me ask you, along the same lines that the coach was talking, I'd be interested in how you feel about it. Coming into their program and knowing the success that the coach has had, do you feel like any extra pressure, or like Coach said, all he wants you to do is be yourself, and if yourself ends up being good enough to be a state champion, that's great. But was there any extra pressure when you started running to say, golly, people before me won, I got to be a winner?
Well, I've actually been running with Coach Hine since I was in the 7th grade. So I've had a really great chance in getting to see the teams develop, and like this year where we really weren't going into the state meet confident that we were going to win, but a tradition that is in Hoover and all the different sports and really in academics as well is that we strive to be excellent. So I don't think there was a little bit of pressure, but kind of a good pressure. It helps motivate us, and to know that if other Hoover athletes can do it, then so can we, and we kind of want to hold up our name.
Yeah. Well, Michelle, did it surprise you? What kind of year did you have for yourself personally? Being a state champ means that you peaked at the right time, and I don't care what sport it is. I talk to coaches about it all the time. They want their athletes peaking come tournament time, or when you're going for those state championships. So how did you feel about your situation for you this year?
Well, starting off my season, it was kind of like rocky. Like Coach said, he wasn't really sure if we were going to win state, but the meet previous to state last chance meet, it was my last chance. So I decided that was the race that I was going to try my best in. And of course, I came out that meet winning and PRing in all my events. So I kind of got out of it what I wanted.
Well, I tell you what, girls, one thing that I'll talk with you two athletes, and then we'll get back to the coach here in a second, but you do two things very well. One, you got to be a good student in the classroom, because if you don't qualify in the classroom, you don't make it to the track, and then you got to excel there. And having said that, what do you do? There's pressure in the classroom, there's pressure when you're in tournaments. What do you do to just relax and unwind and take the pressure off and just be yourself for a little while? What is it you do? And we'll start with you, Sydney.
Well, I think running is, especially more of the distance side, it's kind of a stress relieving sport. You know, we can go on an easy run and be with our friends and kind of just relax and goof off. And that's kind of great because we're continuing to train and do what we need to be doing while still having a really good time together.
Yeah.
So.
And how about you, Michelle? What do you do?
I kind of like to spend like time with my family and just like relax and chill and stuff like that. Not running my spare time.
Well, now, Coach, of course, you're going into your spring season, but looking to next year, and you have an idea of the athletes you're losing, and you've got an idea of the athletes that you'll be coming back with next year. What does it look like next year? Do you think you've got the nucleus to have another good group next year? Or?
Well, we have a lot of good athletes still. We had 8, I believe it was 8 that signed scholarships this past week. So we're losing 8 seniors. And I think we've got a potential of 4 or 5 more that will sign. So we're going to lose our biggest class ever as far as talent signing with colleges. But there's other kids still coming up, and they're going to have to step up, just like these folks did this year. And the younger ones will have to get better next year. And so, yeah, we plan on winning again.
Well, I
guarantee it's not going to be a gimme.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing too, and you've been in the business long enough to know this. There are years when you maybe think, well, I feel good about the upcoming class, or there's years when, boy, we're going to have work to do if they're going to match what these kids did. Do you feel one way or the other about the group coming up?
It's going to be a lot more challenging next year than it is this year, I believe.
Yeah. Well, then, of course, that's when, as the old saying goes, you earn your keep.
That's right.
Because it is a challenge to stay on top. It's nothing nobody gives you. As the old saying goes, there's that bullseye on your back, But, boy, the time flies. Girls, the last question I've got to ask you, and we'll start with you, Sydney. To this point in your young life, who's been the most inspirational person or persons?
Oh, that's a good question. I really want to say Coach Hind. I think he's done a really good job of teaching us, how to be a great athlete as well as be a great person, and take the lessons that we learn while we're running and put them into our own lives.
Good for you. How about you, Michelle?
I would say my mother. She's kind of like taught me to be strong in everything that I do.
Well, I tell you what, girls, both of you are seniors, right? Off to school next year, going to run in college, I hope?
Yes.
Okay, well, good for y'all, Coach. Congratulations again. Always good to see you. It's great to see you when you sit down champs. There's just something special about that word,
I like
isn't
it. Let's do it again.
Yeah, we will. Matter of fact, we're going to take a quick break, visit with some more champions off their team, so don't you go away. We'll be right back.
Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven. A taste of heaven is always best. Now you know that you're blessed. Give your taste a whole new spin. Bring your friends and come on in. Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. No, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
The next time you need electrical work, whether it be commercial or residential, you need to call Huffman Electrical Contractors, a company that's been in business for over 35 years. They've served clients not only locally in the Birmingham area and all over the state, but have clients outside the state of Alabama as well. Whether it's a new building or remodeling an older building or home, they can handle the job for you. Once again, that's Huffman Electrical Contractors. The number to call is 205-661-5005. That's 205-661-5005. Where at Huffman Electrical Contractors, a satisfied customer is always their #1 objective. And folks, welcome back. As you can see, I got 3 outstanding young athletes sitting here again. From the Hoover track team, by the way, the boys and state championships won by them, so we figured the boys and girls, we could recognize them together. So they're all champions all the way around. Sitting closest to me, Akeem Ruffin, a senior, and you're a 60-meter champ?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then we've got Genesis Jones, senior as well, and you're a high jump champion.
Yes, sir.
Correct? Okay, good. And then finally, James Currison, a senior pole vault champion.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm going to start with you, James. What got you interested in the pole vault?
Honestly, I had no idea what pole vault is before I started. I had a friend who did pole vault, and he did it since 7th grade. And he was a year above me, but he really got me interested. He was like, you really need to come out. And I was really scared too, but I'm really glad I did. Yeah.
Really? Okay. Do you participate in any other sports, or?
I do hurdles a little bit on the side, but pole vault's my main event. Yeah.
Okay, but track is the only sport you
Yes, sir.
participate in. And pole vault, till you got used to it, was it scary when you first started?
You know, people are always really scared of pole vault because they see these really great people going like 18 feet up in the air. But when you start, you're going 2 feet off the ground. Like it's nothing much. It's not really anything scary. And then you slowly progress. You get on longer poles. You go like farther runs, and then so it really just like is a really like smooth transition actually.
Oh, okay, okay. And then Genesis, high jump, right? Being a senior, is track the only sport you've ever participated in?
No, sir. I've actually played softball and basketball.
Oh, really? Do you still play either one of those, or do you just run track now?
I just run track now.
All right. In the spring, what event do you compete in?
High jump, long jump, triple jump, and hurdles sometimes.
Well, now, what is it that you enjoy about competing in track the most, and what is it you dislike the most?
I definitely love meeting new people and traveling. That's one of my favorite things about track. And maybe the thing I dislike the most is it's a lot sometimes. Like, track is a really hard sport to do.
Okay. A lot of it's mental too, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. And Hakeem, senior.
Yes, sir.
So is with that, if you're a 60-meter champ, you got speed.
Yes, sir.
Play football?
I used to, but I stopped.
You
playing.
did?
Yeah.
Okay, so were those the 2 sports you competed in?
Yes, sir.
So what is it that made you decide to go track full time as compared to playing football too?
When I used to play football, when I used to play, like, they tried to hurt me a lot. So we just thought about, like, stop playing football completely, just to focus on track and not get hurt.
Oh, okay. Now, is your what in the spring? You're going in your spring segment now. What events will you be running in?
The 100, 200, 4x1, and a 4x4.
Oh, okay, okay. So as the old saying goes, you got speed to burn, right?
Yes,
We hope so. And I asked the coach about this, so I'll ask you too. When you are competing on a team, a track team that wins as much as coach does and your teams do, what kind, if any, extra pressure is that put on you to be the best you can be?
Well, actually, this is my second year here, so this is my second year winning state.
Okay.
And the pressure you have, it just makes me work harder to, like, make sure our team get to where we need to be.
Okay, so you said your second year here. You moved to Hoover from somewhere else?
I moved from Louisiana.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's terrific. All right. Now, one thing about it, I talk to athletes all the time and talk about what we call superstitions, like they feel like they got to do this or do that or same way or different way or whatever in order to compete and be their best. Do you have any kind of superstitions at all, or you just go out and do it?
Yeah, actually, I feel like if I don't get the right amount of sleep, something bad might happen. Or if I don't eat the right stuff, something bad might happen. So that's it, really.
Well, you feel like you got to get sufficient rest for you to perform at your best, right? Okay. And how about you, Genesis?
I actually have a jacket I've been wearing for the past few years, and so that's my lucky jacket, I guess.
And it still fits?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, that's neat. That's where track helps out, right? Okay. How about you, James?
You know, you can't really let anything hold you back from doing your best. So I've never really had like a superstition or anything, like things that I need to do, just because that's gonna, in competition, like those things are gonna like mess with you if they don't work out. And so like in competition, when you're traveling, everything's not always gonna work out. So you really just have to have your mind on what you're there to do, and you just have to perform.
Have you been at Hoover your whole career?
Yes, I have.
All right, let me ask you a question. And I ask athletes this a lot. Do you make rivals with against kids, and I mean this in a positive way, from other schools, that they're the ones you look forward to competing because you know you got to do your very best, or you're not going to beat them, or even if you do your best, you still can't beat them sometimes. Do you have a rivalry like that?
Yeah, so like for pole vault, I'm not sure for like other events, but there's like a camaraderie between all the vaulters that like you really want everybody to do really well. And so there's not anybody that you're like, honestly, the people that are better than you, you're like cheering for them. Like the person who got second at state, like I was just right there cheering with them. Like I want everybody to do good, and like that's kind of like the pole community. Is like everybody's really close. Everybody really wants everybody to do well.
Well, that's interesting. Genesis, from the ladies' standpoint, is that sort of the way you feel toward the athletes you compete, or is there anybody that you say, I want to beat this person at all costs? You know?
Oh no, the competition. I always wish for the best for everyone, and that actually pushes you more. So when they do as well as you or better than you, it pushes you also. It makes you better.
When, if I'm not mistaken, all of y'all are seniors, right?
Yes, sir.
So off to college next year?
Yes, sir.
Where are you going?
I haven't decided yet.
You haven't, but you hope to run
Yes,
somewhere?
sir.
Okay, all right. And how about you? Do you hope to run? Where are you going next year?
I'm going to Troy University.
Troy? Okay. So you'll be running track there maybe? Or,
Yes, sir.
do you ever hope or think about somewhere down the road you might get involved with track, like even maybe coaching or something? Or are you heading in a different direction?
Oh, I'm going to be a nurse. I'm heading.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, you never can tell. You know, sometimes you could do that on the side or something. But nursing, that's good. That's good. So, how about you, James?
Yeah, I actually haven't decided, but I'm planning on doing track in college.
Okay. Now, do you know what you might want to do somewhere down the road for an occupation?
Yeah, I'm looking at mechanical engineering right now, but I'm really open to whatever is going to happen. I think going into my first year of college and taking these engineering courses, I'll really see if that's something I'm interested about.
All right. So, if you want to, it's very stressful sometimes, classroom, and then all the work that coach puts you through. So what do you do to unwind and sort of relax? We'll start with you.
Well, to me, track really not stressful to me. So when I run track, that would releases everything.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's where you sort of feel most comfortable, is
Yes,
out
sir.
there running. Okay. How about you, Genesis?
Same for me. Track is kind of like a getaway.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, that's neat too, because it sort of seems sort of strange that's your release, but yet on another sense, it doesn't seem strange, because track's a different type of sport to me. You're not out there bumping up against somebody or trying to hit somebody, you know, like in football or something like that. Okay. And how about you? How do you feel about that?
Yeah. So whenever we're on off season, I always look. A lot of people will like take off from the sports, but really I see myself like always hanging out with my friends that are doing pole vault. And so those are really some of my closest friends. So, I mean, I have other hobbies, but pole vault is really a fun thing, even though it can be mentally draining sometimes or can be really tough. Like, you're always just all there for you. Everyone's there for each other, and like it's just such a great community. You're all really great friends. So. Well,
I tell you what, and you're great champions, and congratulations on another championship, another great year. As we end this, Hakeem, to this point in your young life, who's been the most inspirational person or persons for you?
Well, my dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dad always pushing you in a positive way?
Yes, sir, because he was my track coach. Like,
oh, okay.
Since I was younger.
Okay. And how about you, Genesis?
My older brother.
Okay. And James?
You know, like I always look to, there's not really one specific person that I've been like the most inspired by, but you know, all your coaches are always putting so much into you, and just looking at all the really great pole vaulters and really just great track athletes, and those are the people you really look up to, and you're like, I really want to do that one day. But there's not like one specific person. It's been like a lot of people that have made a really big impact on my life.
Well, good for you. Once again, congratulations on your championship. And then I probably could echo what the coach would say, now let's go take care of this spring championship, right?
Yes, sir.
So good luck to you. Folks, we've had another outstanding evening, two great coaches, half a dozen or so great athletes here, all champions in their own right. We'll do it again next week. Till then, you know what the snapper always says, bye.